what do we think? The ones at the back. This is typical of a gas oven. It's not quite the same everywhere. But I'd say they're done. Yes, let's get them out. And, oh, hold on a minute. I'll leave that on and put the rest of my dinner in it. Except I cannot hold the phone at the same time as getting the stuff out the oven. Put this in, that's my, I showed it earlier. I don't need to show you again, it's getting boring, isn't it? That's my, where is, oh, the phone is resting into it. What should I do? You can go over here. So you can admire the shoe. I don't know what these are called, I think there's a name for it. Like potatoe, quelque chose, patate. What could it be called, that thing? Croquette de patate ou bien... Qu'est-ce que ça pourrait être? Because there are some recipes of the choux pastry. But never mind for now. We don't care about names, it's just what it is. And let's see how delicious it is. I like to use these old-fashioned plaques. I don't know you, but I'm not one for using Teflon. In fact, Teflon is made of fluoride, isn't it? Some sort of composite with fluoride, so it gets in the food and then does disturbances to our endocrinological systems. Endocrine systems, yes. So never mind. Fluoride. I haven't got in my house any pans with fluoride on it. I mean with Teflon. I just don't like them. Use anything like metal on it, or even sometimes wooden spoons, and then you end up with lots of scratchings, and it ends up where? In your food. So Teflon, no, no, no. There is no need for Teflon when we know how to cook. We can use stainless steel pans even to make pancakes. In fact, all my frying pans are stainless steel. So what have we got here? Oh, it's nice and dry. Look in the inside. Very nice. It's as nice as last night's. Less greasy, obviously, because it's not fried. It's dry but moist inside. Very nice. I would say it's limitedly, these ones, a little bit overcooked actually. Let's try one that's whiter. A little bit overcooked because there's a little flavor that could be improved. It's not bitter, but it's something that tells me it could have benefited from a bit less long in the oven. Less crispy, the white one. Yeah, softer. See, if those were choux, proper ones, what you would do is you would open the top after not having beaten the side off, obviously, and you end up with something like that. and you can like flatten it or take it out. But in normal choux pastry, because you haven't got the potatoes or the cheese, it's a lot less filling, so it flattens quite nicely. And then you fill it with custard, and then you put your top back on, and then you make a little mountain of all that, and then you sprinkle caramel on top of it. You glue them together with caramel, so they keep as a nice mountain. These are better. This color, better flavor. Now, what I'm going to do, because it's all very exciting and it's live and you're not seeing any of my belly. I'm going to prepare some lunch, which will be also my dinner. And then we can eat together. As in, you can watch me eat. Which seems a bit mean, doesn't it? So hopefully you will have something to eat yourself. Very nice. I added a bit of salt to that earlier. Just because last night they were very sweet and it was nice, but it's nice to have them a bit saltier. So now I'm going to try to take pieces apart from this duck. And later on I'll have to take the duck apart, so to freeze some of this as there's too much. And then with the gravy I can make it into a sort of oven dish, like a pie type thing. Now I'm not going to eat the wing, only the biggest bit, because this duck, I had the wing last night and I could taste washing powder. Now washing powder is one of my pet issues with food. There's a lot of product, in my opinion, that tastes like washing powder. Now I don't know if it's because people use tea towels that have been washed in traditional washing powder and they wipe their hands on it, or they wrap the food in it, which does happen as we know. And then it gives flavor to the animal or to whatever food it is. Or if the flavor of washing powder is caused by plastic wrapped around items. I have found in the past some items, Parma ham was one of them, but not the ones I buy now, which are wrapped with plastic sheets in between. Don't seem to taste of that. It seemed to be, it was wrapped with a normal freezer bag or something of the sort, and then whatever had touched the bag seemed to have that flavor of what I call washing powder. But it should be plasticky, shouldn't it? But it doesn't taste of plastic. So I don't know, there's a chemical reaction, maybe some different plastics have different coatings, maybe there's fluoride in it, the deadly poisons, I don't know. Something smells funny, what is it? There must be some rubber on my metal pan, because it smells a bit rubbery, so I'm going to take my dinner out now. So it looks very nice still. We'll have a few of those. Lovely. Now this, they might go a bit soft quite quickly, so I should really put them in an airtight container as soon as they're cool. That's horseradish, but I'm not sure it will go with duck. I could try. After reading the chapter earlier about the mustard activating the gallbladder and mayonnaise, I fancied a bit of gallbladder activation. So let's have some of that. Look, it's really boring, isn't it? I don't know why people do this. They have YouTube channels and they just waste people's time by doing really boring things like eating their dinners and blowing their noses. Before food eating. Now, bon appetit to you. I do hope nobody is offended by my videos, and if they are, I wish them to go somewhere else and find something that they really enjoy. You know, I keep thinking about that video I did yesterday or the day before about feeling like I'm an attention seeker. It does disturb me a little bit. I feel like I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't waste people's time or my own. That one's definitely overcooked. It doesn't look too bad, but the bottom isn't brilliant. I'll take that off. Yes, to go back to attention seeking, I'm not too sure I understand entirely why I do this. And it might be a phase. I might give up doing all this in a while when I feel I've got everything I can get about it. It's better without the black bit underneath. I do enjoy cooking very much, but I rarely do it. Last night it was exciting. I did my best to prepare this dinner to the best of my ability, not doing like I usually do, by not planning in advance. And what do I usually do? Do things at the last minute, get stressed, want to do too many things, insist on doing too many things, being late, the guest arrives too early. Then things are not as good as they could be. The last duck I cooked was very dry, but this one was perfect, even though it's quite cooked inside. And it's nice when ducks are not entirely, not cooked to the very end, not like a chicken. So yesterday was nice. I gave myself time to do this, and it took about half an hour to do those and fry them, and it was exciting. It's so nice to look for recipes or to want to do something we like and give ourselves time to do it. It's nurturing. I think a lot about a friend I've lost. It's a shame because I won't see him for a long time, and it's for our benefit, really. But friendship never goes away. And sometimes maybe we can make an effort in understanding that it's best we carry on with our lives and then meet again in the future at some point. I hope you're making a lunch for yourself, whoever you are. Alexandra, of course. Is that your name? The duck is free range. That's I started talking about the washing powder, and that lady who sells the meat on the market, she sells game as well in hunting season, and she sells chickens that are around also free range, not organic, but they are properly outside. And all her foods that I have found has that flavor of washing powder, and I raised the issue with her. And she said she was quite offended, and she was quite defensive. She said, I don't have anything, I don't use any disinfectant on my hands or anything that's smelly. Then I said to her, what about your cloths, your tea towels? Oh, they don't smell of anything. But everything she wraps, everything has that smell of washing powder. And it's a shame because she's got venison and it's much better price than everywhere else and it's properly wild. So it's good, but I don't want to eat too much of it because that washing powder's taste is just, it's annoying. I don't know what she does. I think it's a tea towel. So she washes her hands. Tea towel's been washed with high street washing powder. So the hands take the smell because the skin does. And it gets transferred to the meat. Or maybe she dries the meat after cutting them using towels or something like that. There's definitely a flavor. And apparently nobody else has ever said anything to her. So of course it's all in my head. Okay. That's fine. So this duck is from her, but I just buy it every so often, not too often. The pigs can have the bones. I said I would try it. Horseradish with duck, let's have a look. Is it any good? I wonder if horseradish is like the homeopathy book was saying about onion. It dries the mucous membranes. Only because it makes us cry, doesn't it? It makes it like a bit like the onion does. Strong. Oh. This is worse than onion. Maybe I shouldn't have it. That shit I'm not having anymore. It makes it sting all the way up here in the skull somewhere. It's very, very good. If you like horseradish, it's an organic one by Biona. And it hasn't got sugar in it, which is why I bought it. It's got horseradish, water, cider vinegar, sunflower sunflower oil and apple juice concentrate, which is sugar, but it's not sugar. Sea salt and guar gum. Very nice, a bit strong. I do prefer the mustard. Maybe I should stop the live stream because it's a bit boring, isn't it? Nothing's happening. I'm just eating my dinner. Oh yeah, to go back to the worries that I'm wasting people's time and being an attention seeker. Then when I saw on YouTube that there were people that are called influentials or something like that, influencers, and all they do are videos of themselves eating while putting the microphone near their mouth so people can hear the crunching, or eating vast quantities of things, or, you know, everyone to their taste. But I think, why do I feel guilty existing, doing my videos? Nobody has to watch them. But there is this guilt. You're looking for attention. Stop looking for attention. Which comes from childhood, and the more I hear that, the more it's pushing me to look for attention and actually want to do it. It's annoying and a bit strange, but I accept it's the way I am at this time. And I wish you bon appétit. Look at that. If you do like prunes and chestnuts, do try this. Just a paste of chestnuts with some cooked prunes, take the stones out, pass it in a moulinette or blender, and I added a tiny bit of honey at the end, raw honey. Very nice. I feel really awkward eating in front of a camera on a live stream. It's really nice to feel awkward. Oh, Matt Scott. Hello, Matt. It's been a long time I've not heard from him. Oh, I don't need to answer by, I didn't see there was someone called Ryan who asked a question. I don't know if I can answer questions here. I'm not used to anyone saying anything, so I hadn't seen that. Ryan is gone now, but if you come back, as I was saying, this chestnut paste is a can of chestnut. I cheated. A can of, well, it's French chestnut paste. It doesn't have to be French, can be anything. That I boiled with a bit of water so it wouldn't stick to the pan. I boiled some prunes, took the stone out and then blended them. It is very nice with the honey. Without the honey, it was nice, but I thought it would be nicer with a little bit of honey. And yes, it is delicious. Very nice. Do try it. That is you. Oh, very nice to see you. I hope you've got things to do today that are exciting for you. Like having a nice lunch. I don't know what time it is. Prunes, not onion, yes. Onion with chestnut probably would work. I'd think that something else to that, if it was just onion and chestnut. Something like rose would be nice with onion, chestnut and rose. I'm not thinking chocolate ganaches now, but as an idea, with a bit of rose essence, not much, or rose water. Rose can be good in unusual things. What I did once, was it a salad with weird things in it and adding a little bit of rose water at the end. And it works. It works in the oddest places. It doesn't have to be a dessert, but it shouldn't be too strong either. It's a balance, isn't it? There's so much we can do with food if we have a few ingredients. It's much more exciting. Yes, Turkish delight is nice. And in chocolate. If you tried making Turkish delight, if you find a recipe, and do tell me. I've had a recipe that worked, but when I've tried to do it in recent years, it's not worked anymore. So the lack of practice has made me forget how to do it. So I've not managed to do successful Turkish delights without the gelatin. It's easy to do it with gelatin, and it's more of a skill to do the traditional version, which I think in Turkey doesn't include gelatin. And depending where you live, rose water in the UK is available at most places. You can get it in the cooking, baking department of supermarkets if you ever go in there. Or health food shops will have often good quality essential, like rose water and orange blossom water. Or if you've got ethnic shops like Arabic, Turkish shops or Persian shops around, they will have rose water, maybe even the Indian shops, because they do use rose in some of their cooking, in the sweets, I think. So I'm not entirely sure about the Indians and the rose. No, they must do, because a lot of rose essence is made in India. Yes, it is more of a challenge to be vegetarian and cook, but there's some nice recipes out there, isn't there? As long as you feel better for changing your diet, it's all that matters. I feel at the moment, particularly since Klaus Schwab wants us to eat insects, that I felt attracted to eating a lot more meat. And also, being slightly anemic, it is harder, as I used to not eat much meat, harder to get the blood iron count to come back up just using plants. It's not. I think it depends on our health. It's nice that you feel healthier though. That's important, because then when you feel vitality, everything comes. And our guts apparently learns to create the vitamins that we don't have when we're healthy. Like it should be able to create B12 out of nothing, because it's the bacteria in the guts that actually create it, from what I've read. But for some of us, we eat junk foods and don't eat properly, and that, then the bacteria can't really work anymore. Or they are not there, or they get overcrowded with other bacteria or fungi. It must be hard to miss things, but yes, it's a challenge, and if it feels good. Bacon is one of the hardest things because of the smell. It can be so alluring. What about fish? Do you eat fish or not? No, because vegetarians don't eat any fish at all, I suppose. What made you choose to want to go vegetarian? Was it animal welfare? Was it wanting to not consume so many dense foods? Was it spirituality search? Or was it the thought of killing animals for food? I understand the guilt thing, because I've had that for years and I couldn't kill a cow. Well, I believe I couldn't, but maybe if I had a gun and I was hungry, I would try. It's a tough one. I asked the homeopath the other day, because he said an healthy human being should want, well, no, he shouldn't want, a healthy human being is humble and does not feel the need to harm or hurt anyone around them or anything. So I asked him about the meat. I said, does that mean that in our healthiest state, I'm reading now, eating dead things. So in our healthiest state, I asked him, would a human eat no meat at all? Meaning that we harm animals in order to eat meat. And he said some things that I thought to me made sense and to me was very wise. That as a homeopath, he has no prejudice and he has no point of view about meat eating, whether to or not. But that in health, and when people choose to eat meat, that the animal should be of a high welfare. It should be looked after with kindness as much as possible, being given food that is as natural as possible, and that the death part be done with, again, the respect in mind of the animal, and be as fast as possible with the least suffering as possible. So it was interesting he answered that, because there's a student who's a vegan, and she told us about it and asked that question. I wanted her to hear the answer, but I wonder what she thought about the answer. I don't know her reasons for being vegan, or rather following a vegan diet. But I thought that's interesting, because when we take sides, then we have prejudice. So it's interesting. The issue is with dead things is they taste so good, but then, like, people say, they get angry about that, and they say, well, we should be eating humans if we eat animals. But that's different, isn't it? Like, if you eat your own flesh, surely it's not going to be very healthy for you. You're not supposed to. Tribes do, some do, but... I hope you do choose, if you can find it, good quality dairy. Because he was having a, after telling us he was not prejudiced, he was having a real go at dairy, saying about a client of his, a patient, eats a lot of dairy and is very intolerant to dairy. And he said to us, what do you think? Should we give a remedy to the person so they stop being intolerant to dairy? And I said, oh, yes, we should, because dairy is one of the things that is natural for human beings. They've eaten it for centuries, millenaries, always eating dairy. But then he said, actually, the best to do with that patient is to ask him maybe to not eat as much dairy, or choose a dairy that is better quality. Then he went on about cows nowadays, they are hybrided to a point of just like the gross turkeys that are grown for meat, and the chicken with like legs that are out there, which are not bloody right at all. It's horrible. That the cows were done to produce too much milk, and it's not natural anymore. And he said to us, look at the milk, it's homogenized, it's pushed through some little mesh things which make our body not able to recognize it. So in some of us, it can produce reactions. And he was saying if we eat milk, it should be really raw milk, and it should be small amounts of it. But then again, it's his point of view. Is it prejudiced? I said to him, us farmers' daughters, we know that cows do produce too much milk, and there's too much for a calf. Therefore, what do? Do you chuck the milk away if the calf can't consume it? That's when he said that cows are made to produce too much, and insemination is becoming artificial now. They don't even put their hands up there to fertile the cow. They make an operation and implant an embryo in the cow. I didn't know about that. It's a bit weird, really. It would be nice that farmers eventually, they wake up and they get paid better for their products, and they treat the animals better, because some don't really. It's all sort of, it's thinking, it takes thinking about. But maybe you can find, if you haven't, raw dairy somewhere. Yeah, genetically modified. No. It's hard to know what is genetically modified when we shop in supermarkets, because things like tomatoes can be genetically modified and easily available, and we wouldn't know. That's why, if we can afford it, I think, even though organic is not the answer, it's probably safer to eat organic food. But some of us can't afford to, and I've been at a place in my life where I couldn't afford organic food, so I had to eat normal food, and dreading what chemicals were sprayed on it. saying that about eggs. The last time I bought eggs in a supermarket, it was in Waitrose, and I bought their organic eggs. And when I cracked one, it was so pale. It was like an industrial egg. And I thought, I don't fancy eating that. It's quite awful. So since then, I've been feeding my landlord's chickens. They only have a few, like 14 or so, with zeolite, because they get fed industrial, classically, not classic, like modernly farmed grain, which contains soya oil on the grain. So at least it's grain, it's not pellets. But I do worry about the amount of glyphosides, the stuff that they spray, the Roundup that they put on the grain when they grow it and when they harvest it. We see it, the farmer opposite the field that's in front. I saw him spray his field, the grass became yellow. Then he cut the grass, he made it into bowls, put that into plastic. And I suppose because it was wrapped that it was meant as fodder for animals. And then he put the lambs back onto the field he had sprayed. I think eating the lambs that's grazed on grass that has been sprayed with weed killer. Why do they do that? Yeah, but then if I focus on it, it cuts my appetite. So I'd rather think about flowers and what's in my plate and bless it. And I thank you, Earth, for this dinner, which is delicious. Yeah. And thank you, Duck, for your life as well. I'm sorry you weren't organic, but I thank you for your life. And then maybe one day, as the vibration rises, humans won't need to eat like they eat now. But till that time, yes, it has been nice to talk to you. I wish you bon appétit. And yes, back to Rosie's. Pleasure talking to you as well. And all the best with the new diet and feeling vitality. That's really good. It's excellent. Take care too, Ryan. See you later. Nice to talk to you. It's the first time I talk live with someone, so thank you. Do you know, when I don't speak, I feel really embarrassed. It's rather nice to feel embarrassed. It's okay too. That's definitely overcooked. I will get round to accepting and understanding that I too have the right to be on here, just like any other person, if they have the capacity to do it and the will. But what I would like is to do more of the things I like live. So I've got an idea, and I'll show you in a minute. How much of the table is shown I'm looking at. This Dijon mustard, by the way, is very nice. Oops, it's an organic one. I used to buy it in a Polish shop because I don't like the fact that normal Dijon mustard from most shops and supermarkets have preservatives in. There's no need, there's vinegar in this. So I looked at the Polish shop, didn't have the Dijon mustard without the additives. I looked online and there is some sources of organic Dijon mustard with no additives, which is very nice. It doesn't seem to be as strong once it's open. It seems to become just a bit weaker. But it's very nice. That is it for lunch, dinner. By the way, that's the chestnut paste I used for the chestnut and agent prune recipe. So what we're going to do now, most years, or since I've got my, what I call my tarot cards, which are those cards which I have drawn with the intention of guidance and spiritual growth of some sort. Well, mental growth. I've got 2 packs. There we go, one escaped. Les bons moments. This card is about remembering the good moments spent in friendship. This is actually my friend from last night. So it says, remember the good moments, focus on the good moments from your past and from the present, of course. So what I have done every year, so last year I did it really late in the year, I couldn't be bothered, is I pulled 12 cards, one for each month, and the last 2 years they have been unfortunately accurate, and fortunately they all tell me something about the next coming month. It's very interesting. The card I had pulled in November, and I didn't check it, because what I do is I take the cards and then photocopy them and I put them on my wall calendar. In November I had picked a card which is, I'll show you if I find it. I will find it because it's in there. I pulled this one and it says, you know me, I know you. Sometimes I get mice in this house. But I hadn't got mice in my chocolate kitchen for 3 years. Not one. And November arrives, and I was stressed. And one day I go there and I think, someone's been in, there's mice. And did I get the warning, beware? No. I looked afterwards after I caught a couple, and the machine is still on. No, I hadn't taken any notice of the card I had pulled, and if I had, I would have put the traps way before. It's just to show this. The cards I pull are just so interesting because they're accurate for the next coming month. They indicate something. So I have the 2 packs. I've not done that before with 2, but I will do it with 2. This is my newest pack. So this one is a bit more obscure. And there's more cards in this pack than the other one. As when I started doing that, I did lose a few cards that were not drawn properly or didn't have a very good idea on them. Okay, uncross the legs, stop thinking about anything that you don't want to think about, clear the mind. And it doesn't matter really, all this preliminary, because whatever cards come will come anyway. 2 packs. We have shared them. And fingers crossed for next year. So, shall I start with 1 pack or shall I start with both at once for the first month, which is January, which is today. Happy January, Happy New Year, by the way. Let's start this one. Okay. This one says, for January, reset button. change the emotions of your past. This card was triggered by my friend. We were talking about things. He said, I think it's my friend who said that. He said you can reset your past just by changing your emotions of this moment. So you need to become aware that your behaviors are of the past. So this is it for this month. I need to be aware that my behavior might be triggered from old patterns. Have I got oil on it? Never mind. Okay, I'll carry on with this pack because this is a pack I know best, as this one was done a year later. And I've not pulled every card on that one, but I'm sure pretty much sure I've pulled every card in that one. Okay, February. Okay, that was one, was it? That was drawn with my left hand, so that says something as well. It says ligoté, which means tied up, or free, does it? Receiving, free and guided. So imagine that you are in ropes, but imagine these ropes opening up and actually making a swirl of energy all around you and transforming themselves into light. And that's what this card means. So it means that in February I might feel like I am tied in some ways, mentally, as it's mostly symbolic, and I can work on freeing myself if I keep an awareness. March, coherence. That's Dr. Joe Dispenza's triggered card. Coherence, waves to alpha and theta. When I used to listen to him, I used to listen to his meditations a lot, of heart and brain coherence. So this one tells me that in March I will benefit in thinking about the brain waves. And doing my best to make them as coherent as I can. Okay, April. Now, one of my favorite cards. The Earth Energy. It says, we are her, we are one energy. Trust. By doing that, I wanted to show the human body as just a shape set in space. And energy is all around us, and it goes through us from the earth back into the sky, into our hands. So this is for April, which indicates me to trust and to remember my spiritual nature and the fact that I am energy and I am not just this body. The wagtail is walking away from the person as well, which is interesting. Okay, April, May. Guidance of life. The person in this card is passive, but there is a ray coming from her heart to give us the direction and the guidance. So it could be that I will get a lot of synchronicities that month in May. That will remind me that I'm not alone. June, again. That's the same card, similar to the previous, the one of Avril. So that was that one. This one is very similar. That's one of the first ones I drew of this pack. It says, I am a channel of life, energy, a channel of God. Energy centers are like a link. I am a shape set in space. So this again is working on remembering the spiritual nature and energetical nature of what we are. A mystical year coming. What is next? What is for July? Oh no. Okay, July, which is my birthday month. It says, face your fears. And there's a drawing of St. Damian's, which is a church that I go to sing and play some, not organ, what's it called? Not a harpsichord. Clavecin, whatever it's called in English. That thing with pedals, which isn't an organ at all. So it tells me that in July I'm going to have to make an effort to face my fear of repression of voice, and I'm going to have to sing or do things that I'm not comfortable with. But it's mostly to do with the singing, this one. Okay, August, enigma, alchemy of some sort. Now I drew this when I was in a trance and I cannot remember what it means. I don't know what the I in the middle means, other than it could be the soul, the eye of the consciousness that creates us. But there's a coffee bean in the middle, so do I mean by that psychedelic substances? I'm not sure. This card is an enigma. So there's fire, that thing, and water, 3 stars and the moon. So this is it for August. August is usually the time for spiritual experiences. So we have September. It says, tu n'es pas le passé, tu es le présent dans ma vie. Chéris ce moment, cette expérience. You are not the past, you are this moment in my life. Cherish this moment and this experience. There is a note and a heart. So it means music and being aware of kindness, of love. That word, love. Yes, love, because there's a heart. October. Asking me to take some time in silence. Will I do it? Probably not. But it's there, if ever I want to obey to it. Imagine that you are someone else. We can do this connection successful. So this was written, drawn as to entice me to believe I could do something that I don't believe I can, by making myself believe I was someone else who could actually achieve that thing. So whatever it is, it could be levitating, healing, whatever it is. But the connection in October will be successful. Exciting. What have we got next? November, divine. It looks a little bit like a skull, but November being a very busy time for me, it's an interesting time for this card to be pulled. I will not comment on that. Divine. Oh, really? Okay, that's December. Leave a flush required. Soft stones. When I drew this set of cards, I was doing liver flushes regularly. Andrea Moritz, who wrote the book of the liver flush, says we need to do one every month till there's no stones coming out. But I have finished doing liver flushes. Doing homeopathy does not allow me or make me need to do anything like that. So what does that mean nowadays to me? Liver flush required. Does it mean a mental flush is required of thoughts? Does it mean I physically have stones in my liver, which maybe I could be Mindful of? I don't know. Leave a flush required. Not sure what that one will mean for December, but all of these cards, I will forget about them and I will not look at them. But when I look back, I think, oh yes, of course, of course. So now I'm going to open this pack, but in the reverse order. I'm going to start with December this year. And 12. So what have we got? This is a recurring circle. It was written in a way that you keep reading it again and again. It says bonheur et joie, happiness and joy. Find the faith in you, which helps to act for your. So trouve la foi en toi qui t'aide à agir pour ton bonheur et joie. Trouve la foi en toi qui t'aide à agir pour ton bonheur et joie. Happiness and joy. Find the faith in you which helps you act for your. So this one is for December. So this is a joy with a liver flush. This is a very positive card. Maybe it tells me that I will not be so positive in December, but hopefully I will be. I could interpret it many ways, but we'll see what happens. So next card, November. The corridors of time. Psychic protection falls into place. Deep root into the earth. Warmth. Find the center in you so everything falls into place. Psychic protection. That tells me that I might open myself to things that are not beneficial, that I need to keep an eye out. In November, which November was this one, the divining one. So it means whatever I do in November, I'll have to remember to be grounded, to know that I am protected, and to only work with higher vibrations, which psychic protection, before anything, is a high vibration of choosing the experiences we live. See, on that drawing, the fibroid is relevant in the corridors of time. Okay, October. Similar, oddly, similar card. Breathe into your heart. You are the potential of a happy life. And it was done the 6th July 22. Similar as in, I am encapsulated in that protective corridor that I have imagined for when doing trance, grounding into the earth, protection from anything around me that may want to suck on energy, going up to the place where it is safe to be open again. Interesting. And on this there is a sign that I drew for a friend, which that friend might remember. I don't know if he would. Breathe into your heart. You are the potential of a happy life. And that one was with October, which was imagine you can do this, connection successful. So October will be a month of spiritual nature by the sounds of it. Now that's a lot that I'm going to have to print and glue on my wall calendar, which I've not bought yet. September next year. Okay, fulcrum, craniosacral training reference. Love me now, please. So craniosacral therapy teaches us about fulcrums, which are gatherings of energy that stop the life flow from flowing in the body and in the energy field. This is obviously my abdomen, drawn here as the fulcrum, as a gathering of energy that's not going anywhere. So I need to love myself because some of the self-hatred is also contained in there somehow. Do you know, to actually watch this drawing makes me feel slightly disturbed. Only as in, it seems to be acting on my subconscious mind in some ways. It's like, why? And the breathing comes. Breathing, breathe into it. And there's also an ovary drawn on this drawing. Only one, because it's a cut, it's a side section. So we wouldn't see the other one. Okay, so maybe in September I will love myself, just like the other card said, cherish this moment and this experience. You are the present in my life. So again, similar card. Interesting. That's interesting. I've drawn this. Now that's not my style of drawing at all. As in, that person looks not at all my style, but he impersonates someone I worked with a couple of years ago. I won't expand anymore on who he is because it doesn't matter, but it says watch out for intense moments of joy. This card is so vital. Okay, intense moments of joy. So that was to do with August, which was the card of Enigma. So interesting month, August, I think. Watch out for the joy. July, month of birth. What have we got? Oh, interesting. July, okay, fair enough. Hold on a minute, you know what? If I hadn't decided to do the reverse order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this would be the card I would have pulled for June. And interestingly, this is a card of the Devil's Frying Pan, which is a place in Cornwall, which we booked the cottage to go to in June. But there is a reason why it's showing for July, because I've decided to do the cards this way. Feel the energy of this Devil's Frying Pan. The first time we went to see the Devil's Frying Pan near Catridge Cove, that's the Devil's Frying Pan is a sort of, I think it was a cave at some point that collapsed, and there's still an arch from the sea coming into it, and so it comes into this what they call frying pan. And the first time we went, there was a lot of wind, there was a bit of a storm, and the energy was incredible. It just felt amazing. So this card was drawn to remember the moment of how it felt for July, for my birthday. So remember the holidays that you've just had, as if everything goes well, of course. You never know, Klaus Schwab might have us shut in our houses in June, so we'll see. The throat, coherence and harmony. This is for June, for the throat. Then it's about expression, the throat, and coherence and harmony, which goes with June, which is this card. I forgot to show you Devil's Frying Pan was with that one, with the one Face Your Fears. So, May, depth, universe, the crown. Very simple card. It's about spirituality and expansion, and knowing that we are, all of us, sovereign, and with capacities to expand into the sky and stars. Depth of the universe. Obviously linked also with the crown energy center, crown chakra, which was picked with this card, guidance of the heart. So Okay, thank you. Do you know what? I'm not looking forward to November and October next year. I hope I won't be as stressed as I was this year. The heart coherence. So that is just to do with the heart. There's the infinite sign up there. I'm sure I won't be as stressed. With the homeopathy, I've got to get organized now. March, the center is the power, le couloir du voyage, the corridor of travel. The center of your being is in between. The lava of the center of the earth that burns the feet and the coldness of the planet where the dust is born from your head. I'll read it in French. Le couloir du voyage, the center is the power. Le centre de ton être est entre la lave du centre de la terre qui brûle les pieds et la froideur de la planète ou la poussière née de ta tête. So this was drawn between two ideas of being on the earth and feeling the center of the earth, that is obviously the lava that's overly hot and burns. But feeling my head was on Mars, where it was extremely cold and dusty. And in between is a corridor of traveling, or the corridor of time. So this is for March, and it was linked with this card, which is heart coherence or brain heart coherence. So it indicates some spiritual search and some spiritual work again. Oh, very interesting cards this year. Now, February, I'm getting breathe joy and force in your hands. Okay, the hands which are and were suffering at this time. Breathe joy and force. So this is for next month, and it was picked with this card, which is feeling tied up but freeing oneself using the ties as an energy to expand from. Okay, breathing into the hands, interesting. And the last card for January is presence, safety, unity, base, earth, genius. There's a wave. There's a sign of the healing at the top. A mouse, a flower, an insect, two insects, and the earth, and the genius, whatever. That's a bit of an obscure card, that. Unity, safety, and presence. Change emotions of the past and reset the button. So this is for this month. Interesting. Oh, this is it for now. You've seen the cards for next year. Here they are. Janvier, février, mars, avril, mai, juin, juillet, août, septembre, octobre, novembre, décembre. Should I pick a card for my viewers? Oh, they're not my, they are the viewers who are wasting their time watching my channel. Let's pick a card for you. We'll pick one from each pack. We'll pick from the newest pack first. This is a card for you. What does it say? It's upside down. Je t'aime. Oh, well, that's very nice, isn't it? So this is a message for you. from yourself, because it's all symbolic and it's all from your higher self. And from the other pack, it's picking nature's comfort. The meditation trees. This is when I went to Wales once, and there was a tree by the car park, which was such nice energy. I wanted to be with it, so I just laid on top of it and tried to sleep or meditate in the branches. And this was its leaf. It was a strange bit of tree. So this card is for you. Nature's comfort, the meditation tree. And this card was actually about trance and plant medicine. The comfort that we can get through nature. Thank you for wasting your time. I mean, not wasting your time, enjoying or not enjoying. And I wish you a happy new year 24, that it be good for you and that you enjoy yourself and that you grow exponentially into who you should be and your blossoming self.